This is the Behind Closed Doors podcast, a podcast that talks about real life issues as seen through the lens of a millennial. We are not our circumstances are a part of us. So join me as we unpack these conversations.
So, who are you?
I'm a creative being and I love to be connected to nature, and this reflects in my work and it's just certain things that I am attracted to.
Today's episode features an author, mental health advocate, and a self-taught media visual artist. She has been in a total of 17 group exhibitions and 2 solo exhibitions. She has exhibited in 3 international countries, Egypt, South Africa, and Australia. She won an award at the 2019 Oscar of African Creativity in Egypt and was nominated for a national award in Zambia at the 2019 Ngoma Awards for the most outstanding female visual artist. She was awarded a Talent Excellence Award for Mwape Peer Awards 2020, and her work has been published in the Aki Review 2022 edition from Nigeria. She has an ongoing visual art exhibition via website on mental health awareness. This exhibition is a collaboration with an illustrator and an author who are advocates of mental health from Malawi and South Africa respectively. She has had collaborations with Open Society Initiative for Southern Africa on a mental health awareness program. With this, in 2022, she launched an art therapy coloring book for teenagers and adults titled Free Your Mind, Free Yourself, which speaks on mental health awareness. The book has positive affirmations and inspirational quotes embedded in the drawings. Furthermore, she takes small groups of people through art therapy sessions and mostly for corporate entities. It is done as part of their team building activities. Her work is abstract and conceptual, and she works with photography and mixed media on wood boards. She addresses issues that affect communities through her art and has a very close relationship with nature, as she believes we are one with nature. This is seen in most of her work with elements that represent nature.
So, give us a little background, a brief but in-depth background of who Alice is.
So in terms of professionally, I'm an economist by profession, and I am an artist and recently added author to the things that describe me. So I'm passionate about art, and I decided to take the route that is more aligned to my passion. Then I would also say I believe in giving back, and if you see my work, it encompasses some of those things, which is where my my art and advocating for mental wellness comes in.
I just want to say thank you so much for being on the Behind Closed Doors podcast, and I'm looking forward to having this conversation with us.
I'm looking forward to it too.
All right. So, what made you change from economics to artistry? Because that's quite a big change.
Yeah, and I think for me, inwardly, I always knew that I was artistic. But when I was doing my university, the first thing that came to my mind is I want to do something that's going to support or aid my vision in the future. And I chose to do economics. So economics became like a foundation that would then bring me to a point where it aids me in when it comes to now something that about. I didn't know I was going to pick art, but I think inwardly there was that alignment and connection with my life. So it turned out that after I was done with my degree in economics, I actually worked with certain organization for a year. But during that process, there were certain things that I experienced, and I felt like I was not fully connected with my being, with who I see myself being. And from a certain experience, it led me to actually know exactly what I needed to do, and I knew that it had to be connected with art. So I've always been very artistic in nature, and I would always see things in a different way, in a different light. So I think it just came to a point of where everything just merges, kind of like a full circle moment. So I trusted myself.
What led you to mental awareness, mental health, and all that with your creativity?
So with mental health awareness, it came as something like a calling. I'm going to give like the moment when it actually hit me that this is what I want to do with my art, because when I started doing visual arts and coming from a self-taught background, it was more about learning how to do art itself, learning the different types of arts, and just kind of just teaching myself the whole process. So I started with photography, then I started to paint, and but there was this thing, it's kind of like a nudge. It's just something that kept on coming to me very, very strongly. And it's something that I realized that we don't actually discuss things that have to do with mental wellness or mental health free the Zambian context. And um, I just wanted to speak about it, and I just wanted to normalize the conversation, and just to show people that this is actually something we can just talk about. And the more we talk about it, it becomes very easy to even handle certain issues. So the moment when I actually realized that I want to do more with it was when I was creating certain art pieces, and I felt like there was more that the art could speak on. And um, it just came at me to feel like, okay, this is the path that I'm going to take, and this is something that I'm equally passionate about. And yeah, I think I just mostly trusted my instinct.
Before I delve into the mental health awareness aspect, I'm going to speak completely from a place of ignorance. What exactly is visual arts?
Um, so visual arts is more of something like you can I'm gonna put it like layman's language, like something that you're able to see. So visual arts, first of all, also come in different forms. So there's things like painting, there's things like photography. I think they also describe it like a I think 2D medium, and I don't want to be put on record for defining it in the wrong way, because I just I came from a point of just self learning. So I've come to understand that visual arts are things like painting, things like photography, and yeah, I think there's many other forms of visual arts.
I like that. So now, circling back to the mental health,
Yeah.
I recently saw a post. I will not mention by who.
Mm,
It's said anxiety and depression are because of, or actually, it said all anxiety and depression are because of trying to please other people.
mm,
And so when I saw that, I was like, if people are working extremely hard, and like you mentioned, the Zambian um the Zambian layout, we don't speak enough about mental health. And then we
mm-hmm,
have people of influence saying that mental health is just because you're trying to show off to Alice to say, oh, I'm Cece and I can have an iPhone just so that you can impress Alice. But then
mm,
if people can say that and you're here trying to push the agenda of mental health and do all this work to try and create awareness, how is this how do you think this now impacts on the work you're trying to do?
um So I want to make it clear that for me, when it comes to discussions on on mental health, I'm speaking from a point of a creative, and
Mm-hmm.
not a professional in terms of like therapist, you know. But
Yeah.
what I do understand, and I don't know where there's the that statement came from, in what context it was written, but what I do know for sure is there are a lot of things that cause stress that come from the outward, and then now it comes into the inward. So, for instance, I'll get anxious about something, but it's something external. And then now I feed into it, and it becomes now an internal thing. And the more I think about it, the more it stresses me, and the more it causes anxiety. So I feel like that statement is I think it would base like on context. It's quite it's kind of like vague or broad. So in terms of context, so in terms of like the impact, I don't think that that affects what I do or what I'm doing in any way, whether positive or negative, because I believe that um, mental health, I like to describe it as something that has no face. And if you look at some of my work, I've done works where it's like the campaign is like, I am without a face. Or for me, that's how I describe mental health. So many people are going to describe mental health or mental health issues from different forms. So there's no one way that you can describe it. So when someone makes a statement, I think that it would be better to know in what context, because they might have something valid, though when you listen or you read such a statement, you might think it's vague, but maybe it has something in it as well.
I like how you've put that context does really matter. So, in your line of work, do you come across criticism? And if so, how do you navigate around that?
So when it comes to criticism, I think I'm going to put it as it's a character thing. So everyone handles criticism in a different way. So even before criticism is attached to my work, which I have faced before and I still face, it doesn't, as long as it's not moving me from my agenda, it doesn't affect my work in any way. So the reason I put up character is my character is I can listen to people's criticism, and then I'm going to sieve. If it's something that I need to work on, I will probably do it in my own way and in my own time. But if I feel like the criticism has no foundation, then I will just take it like it was just another person's opinion. So that is how I choose to navigate me. So you're going to just so you're saying you can just do art for therapy, and then you're going to feel better about it. I'll ask them, have you tried it? Have you experienced it? Have you experienced it with me? So for me, that is how I choose to handle criticism.
I like how you mentioned that it's a character thing, because mostly you find that with such diverse things, you a lot of people break. But then um I know most art or any form of creativity is a bit difficult, especially in our setup. How has your art been welcomed into the Zambian setup, or have you also gone into like out of Zambia? How, how does your work? If you understand
Okay.
what I mean.
Yes. So I feel like I have examples for everything you're asking me. But so two things. When you're coming from a point of self-taught. So there's self-taught, and there's those people that actually go to school for the arts, and you learn all these techniques. They kind of give you the rules, what to do, what not to do, and so much information. But from the onset, um, I started it with an open mind. And what that did is I got to decide what my comfortable zone is. I got to decide what rules I will create for myself, um, what path I will follow. And the reason is I just don't limit myself. If I say I'm going to do something, I will most definitely do it unless it's something that is completely beyond my control. So when you look at most of my work has a lot of abstract. It's or maybe let me say it's very abstract in nature. And when you look at most of the Zambian arts, not so much of abstract. There's some of it, but not so much of abstract. So I decided that I was going to follow my instincts. I was going to trust myself, and I will create my own path. So from that point of view, everything has been what I decide. How people take it, sometimes they'll know about it, sometimes I'm the one teaching them about this certain form of art. So what it has done is that it's helped, not limiting myself, has helped me uh, even be on platforms that I didn't expect myself to be. In terms of the way it's been received here, people are open to learning new things, and even from the outside, it's the same thing. My work has been appreciated by audiences from the outside, even locally. Like I think that was 2018. I won an award in Egypt, and the work that I presented there was an abstract piece. And even with the mental health awareness, when you look at my works or my arts that speak on mental health, they are conceptualized on a certain topic or an emotion, and they have some abstractness in there. But people have also gotten to appreciate that kind of work even back home. So yeah, I think I would respond to that in that way.
I before I had the conversation with you, I went through your socials and I was stalking, and I've seen the pieces and they look so beautiful, and
Thank you.
they bring out, they evoke so much emotion. And I think for the most part, every person gets a different emotion from what they see. Because I got
Mm,
different emotions as I was going through your page, right?
interesting.
How has your creative expression contributed to your sense of identity and personal growth?
Hmm. That's an interesting question. So I like that you've expressed something that so many people actually have expressed, and that's that my work evokes certain emotions, and that is because most of my work is created from a point of emotion. So what it has done for me is to always choose to listen to that inner voice. And I feel like I've said listen to my inward in this conversation so many times, but it's just very important that you get to know yourself, learn about yourself, not limit yourself, um, and listen. There's always an inner voice, that instinct. Always trust your instincts. So for me, my work has is created from that point, and it's helped me as well, just personal growth. And the other thing also that it has contributed to my identity is sometimes I'm found in different spaces, and I'll have people come to me, people I don't know, and they'll will attach my work to me, and they'll say, uh Alice, right? Alice Molo. And I say, yeah, I love your artworks. You don't know me, but I know you. I follow your works are amazing. So it always kind of becomes like that's a personal reminder that I'm doing something right, and not just right for myself, but also for the next person. And the other thing is, uh, people are now becoming more aware of my advocacy for mental health. So you find that people are more open to having conversations with me, that have to do with mental health, because they know that I speak about it and I'm not ashamed to have that conversation. Then I become a safe space for them, even if it's a 1 minute conversation.
Wow, that is so powerful. And I'm always so inspired by people who actively advocate for mental health. I'm so passionate about it,
Mhm.
but I'm also very reserved to speaking about it. I
Mm.
don't know if I think it stems from a place of fear. And I know you mentioned that when you're doing your art pieces, it's off of of emotion, right? But
Mm.
how do you continually seek fresh ideas and perspectives?
In terms of the creation or the creative process, I give myself a lot of time. And when I mean time, I mean, like, I give myself time to actually think about what I want to create, and more so the impact it will have. I've had moments where I have a creative block, like I can't create. No matter how much I try, I will not be able to create. So what I do in those moments is I step back and give myself a moment of um, relaxation and reflection. So when it comes to fresh ideas, it becomes very seamless when you allow yourself a moment of rest as well. And the rest is not always physical rest, just your mental rest. When you tell yourself, allow yourself to listen to your intuition and just let it flow, as opposed to feeding yourself with an idea of what you want to bring out. So everyone creates from different, in a different form. But what has helped me is to always know when to rest. If I need time off social media, I will take time off. Recently, I took time off. I think for about 4 months, I was not posting anything. Um, I was just being in my own space, finding other things that still feed me. I'm a strong believer in feeding yourself positive things. So when I find that I'm having a creative block, or I feel that I need a moment to step away from work, I have a privilege because I do my own business. I have that privilege to even take certain time off. And I know that at the end of it, I will produce positive results.
My next question was going to be, how do you balance your creative expression and responsibilities in life? But then you've already mentioned that you take time off, which at least helps you with your businesses and all that. So
Yeah.
when you look through your journey, right,
Mhm.
how has been your support system like?
Mm. Support system has had like kind of like a roller coaster. And um in the beginning, there was not so much support. But what I got to learn throughout the whole process is that sometimes people um will not support you, or they will be afraid of the step that you're taking, not because you can't make it, but they project their fears. They put themselves in a position to say, I would never do that. And you find that they now respond in a, it comes off as a negative. So again, when you go back to character, I choose to just follow what I want to do, because I have obviously thought about it. I have strategized, and I know that there's probably one way at least that I'm going to navigate. So the support system has been high and lows, but my personal support has always been on the high.
You know, you seem like a person who just really sticks to their vision. Whether challenge, no challenge, you're so focused on your vision, whether you get the support or not, and it's really admirable. If what are the three most important things that you've learned in your journey?
The three most important things. Number one, everything starts with you. Everything starts with you. Number two, don't limit yourself based on the circumstances or your current situation. Number three, the world will catch up. So for me, those things have helped me move step by step, and I use them every day. Everything starts with me. I shouldn't limit myself because today my bank account is not looking great. Then it means, oh, my vision is not going to materialize. It's a moment. And when I say the world will follow, the world will catch up, I mean, in your uniqueness, the world will catch up with you. Just be who you are. Just bring out things the way you see them. The world will adjust. It will learn like, oh, there's also this unique person, and it will catch up. So those three things have really helped me.
The world will follow. It has given me goosebumps. As we sort of wrap up, what do you feel like I should have asked you that you'd want to speak about?
Um, Not necessarily what you should have asked me, but what I would love to speak about is just whoever is going to listen to this, whoever comes across this conversation, I just want them to remember that you are never alone. You are never alone at any point. If you're feeling very low, if you feel like the world is just coming down on you, you're not alone even in that moment. Just look within yourself and you will know where to go, who to go to, and there's always help. And when it comes to, I have a book, it's titled Free Your Mind, Free Yourself. We need to learn to take moments to just free ourselves from things that are eating us up on the inside. And the reason is every time we are faced with adversity, emotionally, physically, we must take time to really be very conscious and very intentional about the things that we put in our mind. So, even at that point, when you're feeding your mind, remember that your intention is to free yourself and that you are not alone.
Alice. Oh my goodness. Wow. I mean, when you speak like this, what questions do you want me to ask next? Because wow, I'm speechless. What advice would you offer to fellow creatives that are seeking to fully embrace their artistic identity and use it as a tool for self-discovery and impact for the greater good?
I would say, show up for your dream every day. Show up for your dream every day. Your own way. So leave those footprints of who you are or who you're supposed to be. And even sometimes when things feel like you're doing some crazy art, just let it be, let it flow, but always show up for your dream every day.
In conclusion, after all is said and done,
Mm.
who have you become?
Wow, interesting. Interesting. And the reason I'm saying interesting is every day I am growing. And I would say I have become a person who is open-minded, more open-minded, and ready to discover myself, evolve, rediscover, not afraid to fail. Um, Someone who's always sure that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and I make it like it's a simple thing when I say trust yourself. Everything starts with you. But for me, I would say like that has become my mantra. Everything starts with me, and I've become more of that person, not just something that I say to say no, everything starts with me, but it's okay to be that person. That's the person I've become.
That is so inspiring, and you're doing such great works, and especially on such conversations that a lot of us shy away from. But these are actually conversations that we need to have. Before we let you go, please let us know where we can find you, how we can support you, where we can follow you, and see your works.
So you can find me on Facebook, Fortitude Arts Gallery. I'm on LinkedIn as Alice Mulombe Muyambo, and Instagram at Alice Mulo. I've been trying to catch up with Twitter, but I haven't been so good at it. But it's at Fortitude, Alice Mulo _ Fortitude. Sorry, Alice Mulo _F.
All right, I will put all the links in the show notes. Alice, thank you so much for joining us on Behind Closed Doors.
Thank you so much for having me, and it's been quite a great conversation.
Thank you for joining me on Behind Closed Doors podcast. If you enjoyed the conversation, please share it with a friend. Like, subscribe, and most importantly, please leave us a review on any platform that you may be listening to us from. For now, goodbye, darling. Till next time.